We are back on Inside Politics today. Our guest is Larry Woods, Democratic strategist, and Bill Phillips, Republican strategist. We're talking about what happens next now after the wake of the November 6th general election here in Tennessee and across the country. Gentlemen, there'll be another Senate seat, Lamar Alexander's seat, that'll be up in 2020. Do you think, Bill, Senator Alexander's going to run again?
I suspect that he will. If his health is good, why not? You know, people keep telling me 80 is the new 60. They're trying to encourage me, I guess. But
well, that makes me feel better too. Well, Strom Thurmond was still in office at the age of 96.
That's right. Yeah.
Is this when I declare my candidacy to run against Lamar?
Well,
just kidding, Lamar.
Who's on the bench for the Democrats to come in?
Carl Dean.
Do they have anybody to?
Carl Dean.
You think Carl will come back?
He's now got statewide name recognition. He's a smart, capable, great mayor of the job and great Metro Director of Law. He's done great at everything he's ever done, and he's spent a year and a half here traveling the state. If I were Carl Dean, I'd take 2 weeks off and hit the road again.
If Senator Alexander does not run, maybe if he does, there's a lot of talk about the incoming new Congressman, Dr. Green, coming in and doing that as well. He decided he's going to get into it. Do you think, Mark Green, do you think he's going to be formidable, Larry? He would be tough. I think he might be tough for Carl Dean to take on.
Well, I think Green is probably the most right-wing conservative in federal office in Tennessee today, and therefore appeals to what? At least 45% of the vote right there, which means he's just got a few more votes he's got to pick up. Green would make a very powerful candidate for a Republican state.
Bill, if for some reason Lamar Alexander decides not to run, what's the possibility that Bill Haslam comes back from a very short retirement and gets in? He looked at running in for the Corker seat, but decided not to. Do you think he's still interested in going to Washington if the situation is right?
Well, my gut is that that's the person I would think of if Lamar is stepping down, that it'd be Bill Haslam, and I do think he's interested.
What are the relationships within his own party? I mean, and particularly in a primary situation. Yeah, I say against a guy like Dr. Mark Green. He was not a Trumpster. In fact, he asked Donald Trump to get off the ticket after there was the problems with the tape that came out during the campaign. Would he have a tough time in his own primary?
Well, it'll be interesting to watch that because, 4 years is a long time. So let's say 3 years from now, we don't know what the Republicans are going to be thinking about their inside.
I think we do. It's going to be Trump, and all Trump. Good and bad, mostly bad, I think, of course.
Larry, back on the state level in the General Assembly, the Democrats picked up 1 seat in the House.
Right.
1 is a lonely number, but I guess it's a start. How do you make that any better? Because the supermajorities are still huge for the Republicans in both parties.
I had his sign in my front yard for the last 3 months. Bob Freeman, great guy, but as you point out, it's an increase of 1. The Democrats are still not going to be a powerful force in the House or State Senate.
Bill, I think you talked about this before we took the last break. You think come January it's going to be warfare up there because the Democrats are going to start using their oversight abilities in the House because they'll control the committees.
We're going to have a scorecard to keep up with just the different investigations that are going to start up in January on the House side.
And the Mueller investigation, do you think that continues? You think the president's trying to get?
Ticket.
You think, Larry, that might be a problem even before we get to January?
I think Trump will try to close it down right away, either budget and financially wise, or by firing him, or both. And therefore, it's going to be a firestorm come January when Nancy Pelosi takes control of the House of Representatives, regardless of when Trump does it. Pelosi's going to make sure that it's investigated. Oversight
is one thing. Taking impeachment off the back burner and putting it up on boil, is that coming next? Bill, do you think that's going to be part of that fight that's going to start in January, particularly in earnest?
Unfortunately, I think that we are going to see impeachment start. I don't know if it'll be January or if they'll give a little grace time to build their agenda for it, but it's coming.
We had all Republican government, one party controlling everything in Washington. Now we're going to divided government. Larry, is that going to be a recipe for something to get done, or just even more and perhaps worse gridlock?
I think Bill was right earlier. I think it's going to be gridlock. I think there are going to be a lot of headlines and a lot of fighting going on between the parties, but I think it's going to be gridlock in terms of any new laws. But Mr. Trump doesn't think he needs laws passed by Congress anyway, so it's not going to slow him down. He's going to keep announcing, I'm changing the tax law and I'm changing the immigration law, and just going to ignore that Congress doesn't back him up.
He continues to be the focus of just about all things political, whether it's in Washington or across the country in the last couple of years. So, Bill, he's kind of unlike any other president that I can remember in my lifetime.
Well, he thinks he's still running a private corporation as the CEO and chairman, and he can do what he wants to do. And eventually it will catch up. The courts are beginning to push back on some of his executive orders, and that's a healthy sign for the democracy.
Larry, the Democrats, I think, feel things are coming back their way for 2020, but with this oversight and other things they're going to have, is it likely they may overplay their hand in Washington?
Well, that's always a danger in Washington. If you tell me who the Democratic nominee is going to be today, I think I can accurately predict whether they're going to win or not.
You may not know that till the spring of 2020 or later.
That's exactly right.
So it looks like we're going to have quite a bit of turmoil going on within the two parties. Do you think we'll recognize the two parties in 5 years?
I don't think any Republican 10 years ago would recognize the Republican Party in Washington today.
Well, and I'd say the same thing about the Democrat Party. It keeps moving and keeps moving to the left, and you're getting a lot of Democrats that are like a lot of Republicans saying, well, now what's going on?
Bill Phillips,
we may have a new friendship.
Bill Phillips, thank you for joining us. Larry Woods, thank you for joining us. Always interested in politics, and the elections may be over, but politics never ends. And thank you for joining us on Inside Politics. Hope you'll be back here again for a future show. If you can't get enough politics in the meantime, go to the News Channel 5 website. You'll find my Capitol View commentary there. There's new commentary posted every Friday afternoon. Enjoy the rest of your weekend, and we'll see you back here next time. Goodbye.